Welcome back to ESBR Boxing in partnership with shopbetting.co.uk, your home for betting tips and analysis. Delighted as always to be joined by Danny. This is a reaction video to the strong rumours that Anthony Joshua and Joseph Parker will rematch. What's it's 8 years after the first fight back in 2018. Danny, good to be joined by you. Rumours seem to be gathering pace here. Eddie Hearn said this morning he was open to the idea. Various pundits have made comments about this fight being next. Joshua, we saw him out last time in September, so it's been a while since he's been in the ring, really. Joseph Parker, however, had a kind of a quick demolition job of Martin Bakole, not long ago at all. Thoughts on this fight being kind of a genuine possibility now?
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be opposed to seeing the fight. Few, don't want to say reservations, but maybe downsides you could see. I think Joseph Parker's more than earned a world title shot. However, this would potentially be the biggest fight for him. That's including a world title shot against Usyk or Dubois. I mean, say what you want about where Anthony Joshua is in terms of his career in the ring. He's still probably the biggest name in the heavyweight division. So it's a big money fight for Joseph Parker. I think you mentioned how long ago that rematch was. I don't think that first fight is something people will use in breaking down this fight. I think if you'd have told people 2 years ago that Joseph Parker could potentially open as a favourite against Anthony Joshua, people would probably laugh at you. But I think maybe we'll see if the fight gets made and the odds come out. I think that could be the case. So yeah, I'd be all for the fight. I don't like the idea of Anthony Joshua going straight into a world title shot. To be honest with you, he was a voluntary challenger against Daniel Dubois and got flattened. Or sorry, was he a mandatory? Anyway, it wasn't a competitive fight. There's no merit for him to go in. I've even seen people talk about him potentially fighting Usyk again, which is just ludicrous. I think a win against Joseph Parker is one that would give AJ some credibility. Would he beat him? I'm not so sure, but yeah, I would definitely be up for seeing the fight.
Yeah, look, fantastic. It was yeah, look, it's maybe not a fight people saw coming, but it's one of those where if Joseph Parker doesn't fight Anthony Joshua next, what's the big fight for him? If Usyk and Dubois face each other, which it looks like will happen, what's the kind of realistic big fight for Joseph Parker that's next? And this is a really big fight. Just thoughts on Joseph Parker as an option for Anthony Joshua, Danny. I know it's a more winnable fight than a Dubois rematch. The Fury fight was, it sounded like it might happen this summer. That's clearly not going to happen now. But thoughts on Joseph Parker as an option for Anthony Joshua because he maybe could have gone for a lighter touch, but wouldn't have been able to get himself up for a lighter touch. And I don't think maybe Joshua wants to have or has time for a rebuilding phase like he did after the Usyk losses. So just thoughts on Parker as an opponent for Joshua.
Yeah, he's in a strange position, AJ, because I mean, if you watch any interviews with Eddie Hearn, they're clearly holding out for this Tyson Fury fight. It's still by far the biggest fight for him financially, but we don't know what Tyson Fury is going to do. And Joseph Parker, although it's a big fight, it's a very risky fight because if he loses again, I mean, that Fury fight is completely gone, surely, you would think. And although it's a big fight for the likes of ourselves in boxing, even though the Tyson Fury fight's maybe not what it once was, it would still be a 5, 10 times bigger fight than AJ versus Joseph Parker too. In saying that though, I mean, how long can he wait about for Tyson Fury? I mean, if he does want to carry on, he needs to get a move on. We're here and he's potentially injured at the minute. Seeing people somewhat skeptical of that, but he does need to fight. He can't just wait forever for Tyson Fury, and this would be one of the bigger options. I mean, Usyk and Dubois looks like that's going to be next for them. And aside from that, what a Dylan White fight? Is there any appetite for that? I mean, we don't even know if he can fight in this country. So, in terms of what's left, it's probably the best fight for AJ. I mean, it's definitely not a stay busy fight. It's not a takeover fight. It's a fight with a lot of jeopardy for him, but it's probably the biggest available when we don't know what Fury is going to do.
Yeah, look, it's an exciting fight because I feel like you mentioned Dillian White there, and in regards to what I was saying about a softer touch, that could have been. with
Yeah.
respect to softer touch for Joshua, a fight you could have bounced back in with a stoppage, which could have maybe kind of set him up for a bigger fight. But yeah, this definitely isn't a softer touch. Just a couple more from me, Danny. Just not that it kind of matters too much, but where do you reckon this fight would be? Do you reckon this is kind of a Riyadh main event? It could be the main event or a Matchroom Queensbury 5 versus 5, possibly in August, is kind of I've heard a couple of people say. Do you think this could be, is it a Wembley Stadium fight? Where do you think this fight would be?
I think it's closer to a Wembley Arena fight than a Wembley Stadium fight, with all due respect at this stage. I don't think they would do. I don't know if this fight could do Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, to be honest. I mean, I'll put it back to you. How many casual sports fans do you hear talking about Anthony Joshua anymore, or Tyson Fury for that matter? I think the stock's taking a big dive. I think this Ben Eubank fight is a bigger fight than AJ Parker too, and there's still, by all accounts, 10, 15,000 tickets left at Spurs for that.
Hmm.
So, and you factor in people who go to Ben Eubank too, are they going to fork out for another stadium fight a couple of months later, a month later? Probably not. So with that logic, I think this fight would have to happen in Riyadh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it does a stadium in the UK.
Interesting. Yeah, I think one thing about casual fans is they will happily desert somebody after a loss. So it would actually be interesting if it gets announced Joshua versus Parker 2, Wembley Stadium or Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, um, and to see how many tickets it would do. Joseph Parker, I think I'm a bit more optimistic about it than you are. I think Joseph Parker's a big name in the UK. Joshua's still a big name in the UK. I just think whether people are still going to pay 100, 200 quid for a ticket to go and see him. Um, Yeah, I'm not sure, but it'll be interesting, and I would love to see it in yeah, I would love to see it in to take place in the UK, just because I think it would be a big night for British boxing, but we'll see. Final question from me, Danny. Where's your head at with this one? Obviously, look, the fight's not been announced yet, so it's kind of silly to discuss predictions, but it's interesting to see what Joshua has left. Joseph Parker's he's got a lot of kind of momentum in the last couple of years, hasn't he? But where's your head at on this one?
I think you have to make Joseph Parker a favourite, in my opinion. All the momentums with him, all the confidence with him. I mean, there was talk about Anthony Joshua's headspace even before the Daniel Dubois fight. He's clearly had a big setback mentally from the Ruiz knockout. But that was a fight that he was dominating up until the fight he was clipped. But Ruiz, I mean, where's his head going to be at after what happened to him against Daniel Dubois? Joseph Parker looked spiteful against Martin Bakole. Say what you want about the shape Martin Bakole was in, but it was a heavy Joseph Parker. It was a more aggressive Joseph Parker than I've ever seen personally. Again, maybe that's because he sort of knew what was in front of him. But that if you're Andy Lee and you're formulating a game plan for Joseph Parker, it'll be right. Go and stick it on him early, see what he's got left mentally. And I would have big, big doubts over whether AJ would have any answer for Joseph Parker sticking it on him. So yeah, I think Parker would beat him early.
Yeah, yeah, brilliant. All right, look, I quite like this fight. I like this fight better than Joshua kind of fighting someone we know he's going to beat. Joseph Parker, if he's not going to fight for a world title next, you want him to have that next big thing, which is a massive which is a massive fight. And yeah, I think the winner of this fight is probably in a very good position to fight for a world title kind of
Are we going to
end
get
of
a
this.
prediction out of you?
Um, will you get a prediction out of me? I'm not going to say no. I will. Yeah, I would love to sit here and say that Joshua's going to come back and he's going to stop Joseph Parker. Um, but no, I would edge towards Parker as well in a good fight, in a competitive fight, but possibly a late kind of round 8, round 9, round 10 stoppage for Joseph Parker would be my prediction at this stage. But there's a long way to go, and there'll be kind of twists and turns. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see where these kind of strong rumors go, and if this fight actually happens. Danny, good to be joined by you as always. Thank you for your time, and I'll speak to you again very soon.
Cheers, mate.